So I pulled an all-nighter to work on what ended up being a pretty basic, but I think still good-looking PowerPoint made off of Google Slides. As well as a short script on what to say for my final Talkabroad presentation. Shortly after doing this presentation off of Collaborate Ultra, of all things, I assumed that La Professora would call me somewhere between 8 in the morning and 11 in the morning for me to do my final Talkabroad presentation, which is supposed to be about what I learned from my Talkabroad partner. And the odd thing is, well, 11 came and wins. I used these napkins, one each as bookmarks, to help me keep place of the list of questions I prepared for each Talkabroad conversation, in order to help me try and remember what was discussed during the Talkabroad conversations. I didn't really have the drive or the time to listen to the Talkabroad conversations. That I downloaded into my computer, as Talkabroad gives me that option when they ask me for feedback on each conversation. This morning I did quite a bit of coughing and spitting, but I'm doing well right now. This is the script I ultimately prepared using a combination of a pen and this notebook and the word reference app on my phone, which is basically a Spanish-English dictionary. It helps me to complete writing sentences in Spanish. So it turns out that the Talkabroad presentations final were on Talkabroad Ultra, basically making it the equivalent to an online class that I didn't think we'd have today because of it being a presentation day. I think I went first, actually, even though technically I was considerably late to that sort of online class, due to me thinking, which is understandable, I didn't think we would even have it in the first place. I ended up going and then after my presentation, in which I did my best to pronounce what I wrote down while following the slides that I prepared off of Google Slides, of which I had to come to learn how to use presenter abilities. And Talkabroad Ultra, as that was my first time being given such abilities. I got pictures from Duolingo, primarily by going to their tips section for various lessons they have regarding the Spanish language. I got the pictures using the snipping tool on my laptop, and then I inserted them into my Google Slides PowerPoint, although I had to grapple with that for some time, as I didn't know the first, I think, two different things I tried, the Control C and Control V method didn't work. So I had to ultimately did it by going to the insert picture section, and then it opened up a window where I could look up the images I wanted to insert, which I put on Duolingo. And I got my grade from my oral interview. I got a score of 76, And it lowered my grade to about, I think, 83.6%. Hopefully I'll be able to raise that back up when more grades come in, and it turns out I still have that accent marks extra credit opportunity, and I'm just happy to say that I've been doing a great job in catching up with my grammar journals. Though as I had pulled an all-nighter, I was feeling a little tired by the time of, as I listened and watched the other presentations. Apparently one presenter had issues getting their presentation, and so I believe that's how I ended up going first, at least by my perception. In reality, I may have gone second or third because I missed the first one or two presentations that day. It said that on Blackboard, it said the Talkabroad Ultra session for today started at 10:48 a.m. I think that's a bit of extra time because in that Excel document, 3 names were highlighted yellow and added to the 10th of December. There was only one person who signed up to present on the 8th, according to what I remember. Presentations were pretty good, although I have no idea if I presented for 9 to 10 minutes or shorter than that range or longer than that range. I didn't keep track of the time while I was trying to pronounce everything. And oddly enough, for pronunciation, we got a 13 out of 20. I was specifically told by my professor at a somewhat earlier point in the semester that pronunciation is one of my weak points, which is understandable because I would rarely do the pronunciation part whenever Duolingo offered that in the past, and they don't seem to do that anymore as of now. And after getting a building for a daily exclusive so many times, I'm pretty sure now I'm going to get a daily exclusive that isn't a building at this point. Or, for the technical term, I think the game calls them summonings. At least at this point. I primarily upgraded the city hall, the main hall, as a way to try and increase the rate at which I gain coins and supplies. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it increased the amount of coins I got from the Golden Abyss Agent Wonder, and it increased the supplies I get from the Endless Excavation ancient wonder. But it didn't increase the amount of supplies I get from the watchful winter owl. And I think it increased the supplies I get from scouting from the Tome of Secrets, which getting it to level 1 used to be the requirement of GameHag's third task for Elvenar. I would go complete that task right now by taking a screenshot with the snipping tool and then uploading it on GameHag from the task. But the thing is, they oddly enough don't currently have any tasks for Elvenar. I hope they'll eventually have them again, and when they do, they have something like 6 tasks. Because I've spent so much time playing Elvenar. I currently spend more time on Elvenar than on Iron Rage, on Arcane Showdown, and on Vast Wars. Thanks for getting the Singapore noodles again.
You're welcome. I know you like them, right?
Yeah.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if you wanted more.
I do, but I gotta finish what...
Yeah, I know.
And then, miraculously, despite falling asleep around noon, I still woke up in time around 4:30-ish. Or I believe closer to 4:40-ish p.m. I didn't oversleep and miss the review session for my criminal law class. Although, it should be noted that upon loading up the review section, in which, unlike every other time I went to a criminal law class, I decided to keep the camera off for the review session. Because at that time I wanted to lie down. And that's what I did at first for, I think, maybe the first half hour of the review session, I'm thinking. And even though I forgot about that questions I was supposed to submit on Tuesday, and only remembered I went on the review session, and I think the professor mentioned it, hence why I made an effort to participate by asking some general questions near the end. The questions I asked during the review session had to do with general things regarding the final, such as what we would be asked during
Bill leaves January 2nd.
for Florida.
Yeah. So maybe I'll will this picture do it for you for Bill?
Making a styrofoam of him.
Yeah, we can give it to him for his Either that, I'll just have to take a picture of him. But you can you can use that right?
Oh, sure. Just please send it to me.
I will. Yeah, you can do that. That'll be funny. All right, I'll send that to you.
Thank you.
Can I send it to you right now? Will it ruin your thing?
I'll stop it. The kind of questions we would be asked on for written responses I thought we would be asked about information from the case experts and that were listed, and some general concepts such as the degrees of murder and whatnot. I'm very grateful for these fortunes. And that Dad got another party tray of the Singapore noodles. Either they forgot to put a fortune in that fortune cookie or it somehow fell out. Either way, the two fortunes I got were pretty interesting. Dad put some peroxide on the scratch I have on the side of the outer side of my right leg. Though I've heard that doing that might be harmful, but I also thought about how it's freely available to buy at supermarkets. And that made me think about how That's makes it not can't be that harmless. That sort of thought. I technically pretty much just started playing a Crystal Story, although it's important that I get to work regarding the final paper I have to write for my American Political Thought class by the end of this Friday. If I remember, I think I also asked about what the professor's looking for when we answer written responses. And at the end of the review session, he told us that he hoped the semester had been insightful for us, and I think it was. Excuse me. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think between the second and third part, I had a roughly 15 to 20 minute phone call with my mom about what me and Dad are currently doing and plans for coming home for Christmas and getting a tree. Of which I would like a big one so it can hold all of our ornaments. I'm grateful to say we have quite a few.